competitive organization and capable of winning races for sure. Now winning a championship in one of NASCAR's higher series, and you know, I'll tell you guys, or tell you, Dustin, that the one thing that's been kind of interesting, we lost our crew chief with the 34s moving on, and Blake Harris, and that's a blow to us that, you know, I thought was really going to cripple us. You know, Blake has brought a lot to our Cup operation this year. And I told Michael McDowell a few days after Blake had made his decision, I said, you know, it's kind of like a bad news, good news situation, as from what I can see so far. Is bad news is we've run so good, there's teams that want to hire our people. The good news is we've run so good, we're getting a lot of decent phone calls from guys that want to come to work for us. And that wasn't happening in the past. And so I think just industry-wide, and especially in the situation with Blake moving on from the 34, I've really noticed it that I've had conversations that we didn't have before, and we're embarking on our own pit crew program next year. And you know, you're talking to guys that you know are really talented guys that really like what they hear about what we have going on, and so it's been different for sure. And I think winning the championship here tonight, winning another truck race, will just help in that people's perspective of Front Row Motorsports, of maybe what they thought of it a couple of years ago versus what they think about it now.
Thank you.
Michael Massie, Frontstretch. Are you considering moving Chris up to the Cup level at all after he's delivered you guys a championship? Or?
I think eventually we would. We'd like to. I've talked to him about it. It's kind of interesting. I'll say this since he's gone, but a year ago, Chris is a very hands-on crew chief, very hands-on, and probably Cup racing he needs to be a little less hands-on, a little more computer-oriented, you know. But he's a hands-on guy. He loves working with the cars. When we got the first next-gen car in the shop last winter, and I remember I walked in the shop and he's kind of eyeballing everything and looking it over, and I said, "What do you think?" And he said, "You will never catch me working on one of these things." And he said, "I got to be able to do something to this, not just take this part and bolt it onto the car." And now he had an opportunity to go to the track with us a few times when our 38 crew chief got suspended earlier this year, and helped us get through some races. And I think he saw a different side of it, that there are things you can adjust and still take your ideas and concepts and put it into this car, even though the parts are all spec'd out for you. And he got more excited about it when we talked about running a few races with Zane next year in the Cup Series. And that's our plan, is to take the truck team and race it in the Cup Series next year on the off-truck weekends. Chris was really excited about it. And so I think ultimately he will be in the Cup Series, and I hope with Front Row Motorsports, that's our plan. And you know, I don't see it full time next year, but who knows, maybe a year after that.
What's been more fun so far, Daytona 500 or Truck Championship?
I don't know. Yeah, I might answer that in a little, maybe let it soak in a little bit. Winning the Daytona 500 really meant a lot to me personally, and so it's going to be hard to beat that. But you know, it's two different things. You know, Michael got us in a great situation there. He was in the catbird seat, and the Penske cars crashed, and boom, there he was. You know, and this one, it was a season-long effort, and watching these guys, and I feel like they're very, very deserving champions, and have brought really fast trucks to the track. They kind of lost their mojo a little bit, kind of right around when the playoffs started. I was a little worried about it, but they just dug in, worked harder, and built some really fast trucks. And you know, I really felt like we could have won the race at Homestead if Zane had pushed it, and we were just in a pretty comfortable spot points-wise, and he didn't push it, but we still finished second. And then obviously had the dominant truck tonight. So this one feels pretty good, just from a different perspective, that it was a season-long effort from the guys, and they really are deserving champions for sure.
Jared Haas with Frontstretch.com. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, check one of those two videos out that we have right beside you. Visit Frontstretch.com for more great content.